If you are hearing this message right now, it is not an accident. You did not stumble here by coincidence. Something far greater has guided you to these words, because what is about to be revealed was meant for you. There are billions of souls wandering this earth, and yet only a chosen few will ever be called to see what lies beneath the surface. If you are still listening, that alone is proof that you were meant to. This is your sign. This is the confirmation you've been silently waiting for. We stand at the edge of a threshold, a doorway between what has been and what is about to come. The date is not random. The timing is not negotiable. August is not simply another month. It carries the vibration of a cosmic deadline, a moment written in the stars long before you ever took your first breath. The ancients whispered of it, astrologers traced its patterns, prophets warned of its arrival. And now it is here, but most people will never notice. They will continue scrolling, continue distracting themselves, continue drowning in noise. They will laugh at signs, mock prophecy, and label those who listen as dreamers. They will miss it completely. Why? Because they are asleep. They are trapped in illusions designed to blind them. They believe reality is only what they can see, touch, and measure. They cannot feel the subtle currents of energy moving all around them. They cannot hear the soft voice of destiny calling their name, but you can. That is why you are here. This shift cannot be postponed. It cannot be ignored. The planets are aligning, the veil is thinning, and the timelines are diverging. What happens in this season of August is irreversible. Once the moment passes, it will not return in your lifetime. The wheel of karma is turning, and you must decide, will you step into alignment, or will you let this chance dissolve into the shadows? The truth is simple. Not everyone will be ready. That is the painful reality of prophecy. It is not meant for all. It is meant for those who feel the pull deep in their spirit. For the masses, this moment will feel like any other. But for the awakened, it will feel like a final test. A test of faith, a test of courage, a test of trust in the unseen. If you are watching this, you are among the ones called to see. You were born with a purpose that cannot be buried forever. Maybe you've tried to silence it. Maybe life has tried to break it out of you. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you are ordinary, but the truth is, you are not. You are part of the few who can still sense the spiritual battle hidden beneath the everyday grind. And this August, that battle comes to its climax. Prophecy does not speak to the loud crowds. It speaks to the quiet soul that has been waiting for confirmation. This is your confirmation. The reason you feel restless, the reason you feel like something is about to happen, the reason you keep seeing signs, numbers, and synchronicities, it's all leading here. Nothing is random. Every repeated number, every strange dream, every coincidence you dismissed as imagination has been preparing you for this. August is the final initiation. Think of it as a cosmic exam. The universe has been preparing you with lessons, obstacles, losses, and breakthroughs. And now the question is simple: will you rise, or will you retreat? Will you step forward into the life you were destined for? Or will you remain in the cycles that have drained you for years? The masses will not understand this. They will see nothing but another date, another ordinary sky. They will call this nonsense. But that is why they remain trapped. The chosen ones, the awakened ones, will feel the weight of this time deep in their bones. They will know, even without evidence, that something irreversible is shifting. And that knowing is everything. Do not mistake this as fear. This is not a threat. This is an invitation to step into alignment with the higher design written for you since before your birth. You were meant to thrive, not to struggle endlessly. You were meant to rise, not to remain in shadows. And the universe always provides a moment of choice. August is that moment. The ancient mystics called it the hour of severing. The moment when timelines split, when one path leads to rebirth and the other to repetition. It is not punishment. It is not reward, it is simply alignment. What you choose, consciously or unconsciously, determines where you walk next. And most people, lost in distraction, will unconsciously choose to remain asleep. But you, listening here, have been given awareness. Awareness is power. Awareness is responsibility. Awareness is the first step to transformation. If your heart is beating faster, if you feel chills, if you feel like these words are written directly for you, it is because they are. Energy does not lie. You would not still be here if your spirit did not recognize the truth in this prophecy. And if you are here, then you must also know, this is not the first time your soul has been tested. In past lives, you faced similar crossroads, and not every time did you succeed. That is why this moment is so sacred. You have been given another chance to break free from the cycle that has followed you for lifetimes. Another chance to step into the abundance, love, and alignment that has always been yours, but remained locked behind fear. This is your last cosmic test. And the test is not in what you know, but in how you respond. Will you choose faith when everything looks uncertain? Will you choose to listen to intuition instead of noise? Will you follow the signs or dismiss them? These are the questions the universe is asking. And your answers will shape the months, years, and decades to come. Do not underestimate the weight of this. The shift is real. The calling is real. And if you are still here, listening, then you already know in your heart you were meant to rise in this moment. Not everyone can hear the calling. Not everyone has the courage to answer. But you do. This is not an accident. This is not entertainment. This is prophecy. The words you are hearing now are part of your destiny. The message has found you, and it cannot be ignored. August is the deadline. The choice is before you, and the universe waits for your answer. If you are still listening, it means your soul has recognized the truth. The warning of August is not just about some far-off prophecy. It is about what is already happening inside you. The severing has already begun. And though the world may not see it, though most people will dismiss it, you have likely felt the whispers of change moving through your own body, mind, and spirit. These are not random. They are the signs of initiation, the evidence that you are crossing into the new frequency. The first signs are often physical. Your body is not separate from your spirit. It is the vessel carrying you into this transformation. Many awakened souls have already begun experiencing restless sleep, waking in the middle of the night with no explanation, or finding themselves exhausted even after hours of rest. This is not failure. This is not sickness. This is the body adjusting to waves of energy pouring through the planetary grid. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your cells are vibrating at a frequency that does not yet feel natural. It can feel like heaviness in the bones, buzzing in the skin, even sudden heat or chills. Some describe it as their body purging strange aches, flu-like symptoms, or the need to cleanse. Do not be afraid. What feels like discomfort is the release of the old density that cannot cross into the new timeline. But it is not only the body that speaks. The emotions begin to ripple as well. Have you noticed moments of anxiety that seem to appear from nowhere? Sudden detachment, where you feel distant from things that once felt urgent. Mood shifts that make no sense, as though you are standing in two realities at once. These are the emotional tremors of the severing. The old self, with its attachments and fears, is unraveling. At the same time, your higher self is stepping forward, pulling you toward a new way of being. The clash between the two creates turbulence. Most people will try to medicate it, silence it, numb it. But those who understand, those who are awake, recognize it as a sacred signal. The storm of emotions is not punishment, it is proof that you are being prepared. This turbulence extends into relationships. One of the clearest symptoms of the severing is sudden relational breakdowns. Connections that once felt unshakable begin to dissolve. People you thought would be with you forever may suddenly feel like strangers. Conversations grow tense, distance appears, endings come without warning. It is painful, yes, but it is not random. The energy of the old timeline cannot walk beside you into the new. Some relationships were karmic contracts, designed only to carry you to this threshold. Once their purpose is complete, they must fall away. Do not cling in fear. The endings are making space for alignments your soul has not yet seen. And if certain people remain, know that it is because their frequency is rising with yours. Another sign of the severing is the loss of old desires. Have you felt lately that the things you once craved no longer satisfy you? The material hunger that once drove you, status, possessions, recognition, now feels hollow? This too is not coincidence. The old cravings belong to the self that was bound by illusion. As the veils lift, your spirit is losing taste for the distractions that once kept you trapped. At first it may feel unsettling. Why do I no longer care about what once lit my fire? But in truth, this is the clearing before the new passion emerges. You are being emptied so that your true calling, your authentic joy, can take its rightful place. And then there are the dreams. During times of severing, the subconscious becomes the sacred messenger. Strange visions, vivid dreams, recurring symbols, these are not meaningless. They are instructions. They are messages from the part of your soul that remembers what the conscious mind has forgotten. Pay attention to the colors, the numbers, the figures that appear in your sleep. Notice the animals, the landscapes, the patterns. They are not chaos, they are guidance. Some will dream of water, signifying cleansing. Some will dream of fire, signifying transformation. Some will dream of death, signifying rebirth. Do not dismiss these. Write them down, meditate on them, allow them to speak. Your dreams are the language of your soul, reminding you of the path you cannot yet see with open eyes. All of this, the body's purging, the emotional turbulence, the breaking of relationships, the loss of old desires, the strange dreams, it can feel like chaos. But you must hear this clearly. It is not chaos, it is initiation. These symptoms are the proof that you are crossing the threshold. They are not signs of failure, but of rebirth. The universe is not punishing you, it is preparing you. Every wave of exhaustion, every tear, every loss, every symbol in your dreams is evidence that the severing is working. Do not compare your path to the sleepers. They will not understand. They will say you are imagining it. They will say you are unstable or unlucky or simply going through stress. They cannot see what you see. They cannot feel what you feel. They cannot hear what you hear. That is because they are not meant to. The severing is not for the masses. It is for the awakened. And if you are experiencing these symptoms, it means you are one of the few being called to rise. You may be asking, why does it have to feel so heavy? Why can't the transition be easy? The answer is simple, because initiation strips away what no longer belongs. You cannot carry density into light. You cannot carry illusions into truth. You cannot carry karmic weight into freedom. The shedding must feel real, because it is real. Just as the snake must shed its skin, just as the seed must crack open before it becomes a tree, just as the night must collapse before the dawn arrives, you too must pass through discomfort to emerge in power. But here is the promise. The symptoms are temporary, but the transformation is permanent. What you are moving through is not endless. It is a sacred passage. On the other side of the sleepless nights is clarity. On the other side of the anxiety is peace. On the other side of the endings is alignment. On the other side of the hollow cravings is true fulfillment. On the other side of the dreams is vision. The severing does not destroy, it rebirths. So do not fear the symptoms. Do not resist them. Embrace them as proof that you are being chosen, that you are being prepared. Every shiver, Every restless night, every strange dream is a whisper from the universe. You are not who you once were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Remember this always. What feels like loss is actually gain. What feels like collapse is actually rebirth. What feels like chaos is actually initiation. The severing is not here to hurt you. It is here to free you. The question is not whether the symptoms will come, they already have. The question is whether you will recognize them for what they are. Signs that you are passing through the final test dot. So let this be your anchor. When your body aches, when your emotions rage, when your relationships crack, when your desires dissolve, when your dreams disturb, you do not mistake it for chaos. It is the universe whispering, the severing is here. Step through. What you are living through right now is not only a season of change, it is a war. Not the kind fought with weapons and armies, but a spiritual war, silent and unseen. And yet, it is more dangerous than any battle in history, because most people do not even know they are in it. They walk through their days blind, unaware that every thought, every emotion, every choice is being contested. But you, if you are hearing this, have already begun to see beyond the veil. The veil of deception is everywhere. Mainstream narratives tell you to be afraid, to conform, to chase things that drain you. They dress illusions as truth, distractions as wisdom, noise as reality. The screens, the headlines, the endless chatter, they are designed to keep your eyes turned outward, never inward. For as long as you are distracted, you remain asleep. But if you dare to pull the curtain back, if you dare to question, you will find that almost everything you were told was designed to keep you small. And this is no accident. It is the strategy of the war. Behind the veil, there are energetic parasites, forces that cannot survive on their own, forces that feed only on what you create. They are not seen with the eyes but felt in the heart. They feed on fear, on despair, on hopelessness. Every moment you spiral into anxiety, every time you drown in anger, every time you collapse into exhaustion, something unseen is feeding. These forces cannot touch your true soul, but they can attach to your energy field, leeching your light, draining your will. Most will never notice, because they have been trained to believe that only what is physical exists. But the awaken know. Every shadow in the unseen has its hand in the chaos of the world. You will know when you are under attack. It feels like exhaustion with no cause, confusion that makes no sense, despair that arrives uninvited. One day you feel aligned, the next day you feel heavy, clouded, unable to move. You try to think clearly, but your mind tangles itself. You try to act with courage, but a weight presses on your chest. You begin to doubt yourself, to doubt your purpose, to doubt the path. This is the signature of the unseen battle. It is not random mood swings. It is not simply stress. It is interference. And the more light you carry, the more they seek to extinguish it. The battlefield is not out there, it is within you. The silent war is the war between the mind and the soul. The mind, shaped by conditioning, screams fear, scarcity, doubt. The Feingo soul, eternal and unbreakable, whispers trust, abundance, alignment. Every day, every moment, you are asked, which voice will you follow? The parasites amplify the voice of fear. They magnify the doubts, replay the wounds, stir the insecurities. But the soul is steady, patient, eternal. It waits for you to remember, and this is the battle. Not one fought with fists, but one fought with awareness. The awakened win by recognizing the attack, refusing to feed it, and returning to their inner light. This is why so many are collapsing right now. This is why anxiety, depression, and confusion have never been greater. This is why the world feels so heavy. It is not simply the times we live in, it is the war behind the times. Every distraction is designed to steal your light. Every argument, every fear, every false headline, every endless scroll, it is all meant to keep you from remembering who you are. If you stay distracted, you stay weak. If you stay weak, you cannot rise. This is the agenda of the forces feeding on your energy. But prophecy tells us the truth. The light always wins. Darkness cannot create, it can only feed. And once you see it for what it is, once you recognize the attack, its power begins to crumble. Awareness is your shield. Faith is your sword. Intuition is your compass. You are not powerless in this war. You are the very being the war is being fought over. Your soul is the treasure. Your light is the prize. And the very fact that you are listening now proves that you are not a victim. You are a warrior of the unseen. Do not mistake this battle for punishment. It is proof of your calling. The enemy does not waste energy on those who are asleep. If you feel the attacks, if you feel the weight, it is because your light is strong enough to threaten the shadows. That is why you are targeted. That is why you feel heaviness in moments of breakthrough. That is why doubt arrives when you're about to rise. It is not coincidence, it is confirmation that you are on the right path. And here is the prophetic warning. Do not give your light away. Every distraction, every fear, every endless spiral is designed to steal it. Guard your energy. Choose carefully where your attention goes, for attention is the currency of the spirit. When you give it to illusions, you starve your soul. When you give it to truth, you starve the parasites. Remember this always. Your energy is sacred. Protect it as you would protect your own life, because in truth, it is your life. You are not alone in this war. Millions across the world are waking up, each one carrying a fragment of the light that darkness fears. Together, though unseen, they form a net of energy, a grid of awakening, stretching across continents and oceans. When you feel weak, know that others are standing in their strength, holding space for you. When you rise, your strength holds space for another. This is how we win, not by fighting, but by remembering. Not by collapsing, but by standing. Not by giving energy to fear, but by reclaiming it for love. So take this message into your heart. Recognize the veil for what it is. See the parasites for what they are. Notice the signs of attack and refuse to collapse. The war is real, but the victory is already written. Light cannot be defeated, it can only be hidden. And the severing you are moving through now is not only a test, it is the unveiling of the truth. Remember this, every distraction is designed to steal your light. But if you hold your focus, if you guard your energy, if you trust your soul, you will not only survive this war, you will rise from it. And when you rise, nothing in this world, seen or unseen, will ever hold you again. If you are still here, still listening, still feeling the weight of these words in your spirit, it is because you are not ordinary. And yet, being chosen is not what most imagine. It is not a title you boast. It is not a crown you wear. It is not about being better than others. The chosen ones are marked not by status, but by readiness. They are the souls who said yes to carrying the light into the darkest of times. Yes to being born into an era where truth would be buried under layers of illusion. Yes to walking paths that few would dare. If you are here, that is you. Chosen are not picked at random. Before you incarnated into this lifetime, your soul signed a contract. You agreed to be here in this exact moment of history, when humanity would face the severing, when the old systems would collapse, when the veil would thin. You did not come by accident. You did not simply stumble into this body, into this timeline, into these experiences. You chose it. And though life may have made you doubt, though your wounds may have made you forget, something deep within you has always whispered, I was meant for more. That whisper is your soul reminding you of the contract you signed. But with this role comes both a burden and a gift. The burden is heavy. to carry light in a world that worships shadows, to stand in truth when lies are celebrated, to feel deeply when others are numb. The chosen ones are often the ones who feel the pain of the chill world most intensely. They are the empaths who cannot ignore suffering, the seekers who cannot be satisfied with shallow answers, the dreamers who ache for something higher. They often feel alone, misunderstood, even cursed. But this sensitivity is not a curse, it is the very gift they came here to bring. Because only those who can feel deeply can help heal deeply. Only those who know the weight of darkness can truly carry light strong enough to pierce it. And so, the chosen ones are tested. Do not mistake your trials as proof of failure. They are proof of your calling. Every chosen soul will face isolation, because solitude is where you learn to hear your own voice above the noise of the world. Every chosen soul will face ridicule, because those who are asleep mock what they cannot understand. Every chosen soul will face inner doubts, because without wrestling with your own shadows, you cannot hold space for the shadows of others. These tests are not designed to break you, they are designed to refine you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the role you came here to embody. Think back to your own journey. How many times have you been cast aside, misunderstood, rejected? How many nights have you wondered if you were crazy for feeling what you feel, seeing what you see? And yet, you are still here, still searching, still awake. That resilience is not random, it is the fire of the chosen. You have walked through storms that others could not survive, because your soul carries the memory of lifetimes of initiation. This is why you are able to endure what would crush others. This is why you are able to rise after every fall. It is not weakness, it is the evidence of your role. The chosen are not here to save everyone. That is not their burden. They are here to hold the frequency of light, to be anchors in chaos, to be reminders that another way is possible. Your very existence, your very presence, your very vibration ripples into the field around you. Even when you say nothing, even when you do nothing, your energy is working. You are like a candle in a dark room. You do not need to light the whole world, but you illuminate the space you stand in. And that light, multiplied by thousands, by millions, becomes an unstoppable dot. This is the prophecy of the community of the chosen ones. Though you may feel isolated, though you may believe you walk alone, you are part of a silent global network. Across oceans and continents, in cities and villages, in quiet homes and busy streets, millions of awakened souls are carrying their light. You may never meet them face to face, but you feel them. That strange sense that you are not alone in your awakening, that invisible thread pulling you toward others who understand, that is the network. It is not organized by human hands, but by divine orchestration. Each chosen one holds a piece of the whole. Together, they form a grid of energy around the earth, stabilizing it through this transition. And this is why your role matters. You may look at yourself and think, I am just one person. What difference can I make? But you must understand, war is energetic. And energy does not need crowds, it needs resonance. One aligned soul radiating truth is stronger than 1,000 lost in illusion. One awakened heart carries more power than entire systems built on fear. Do not underestimate the weight of your presence. You are not small. You are part of a network written into prophecy itself. The chosen ones are here to endure, to anchor, to rise, and to remind. Your burdens have been heavy because your role is sacred. Your tests have been painful because your mission is powerful. Your loneliness has been deep because your soul is rare. But hear this now, you are not broken, you are not lost, and you are not alone, you are chosen. And the time you incarnated for has arrived. So when the symptoms of the severing overwhelm you, when the hidden war feels too heavy, remember your role. You are not here to collapse, you are here to hold steady. You are not here to blend into the noise. You are here to be a signal, you are not here by accident. You are here by sacred design. And if you have doubted, if you have felt unworthy, if you have questioned why life has been so hard, know that it is because you were entrusted with a task not everyone could carry. Only the chosen could. And you are among them. The prophecy is clear. The chosen ones will rise, not as saviors, not as rulers, but as reminders that the light has not been lost. And if you are still here, still listening, still feeling every word in your spirit, then you are one of them. The world needs your light. The grid is incomplete without you. The time is now. Stand, chosen one. Stand, for you were born for this. There is a mystery most people will never understand, and yet the ancients spoke of it, the prophets warned of it, and the stars confirm it now. Timelines are splitting. This is not poetry. This is not metaphor. It is the reality hidden beneath. Reality itself. Parallel worlds, parallel choices, parallel futures fracturing into different streams of existence. And though it may sound impossible, your soul already feels it. You have sensed the pull, the tension, the strange feeling that reality itself is stretching, about to break. This is the shattering of timelines, and it is happening now. August is not just another month, it is the convergence point. Planetary alignments form a rare pattern not seen in lifetimes. Prophecy marks it as the portal of division, the hour when paths separate and never meet again. Nostradamus hinted at it. The Mayan codices foresaw it. Even the hidden scrolls of mystics across cultures speak of a season when the heavens would draw a line across humanity. That season is here, and the date is sealed. The reason is simple. Energy has reached a climax. The earth can no longer sustain the illusions of the old cycle and simultaneously hold the new. So the cosmos opens a doorway, and humanity must choose. This is why August feels heavy, why the air feels electric, why time itself feels strange. Because time is rearranging. The 3D and the 5D no longer weave together. They begin to split. But what does this mean for you? If you cling to the old, to the 3D density of fear, control, and illusion, you will find yourself trapped in loops. The same patterns repeating endlessly, the same relationships draining you, the same dreams never manifesting, the same cycles of exhaustion and despair. In the 3D loop, everything feels urgent, but nothing brings peace. You chase, you grasp, you cling, and yet fulfillment slips further away. This is the trap of the illusion. It promises safety, but it delivers only stagnation. If you choose to remain here, the portal will close, and that choice will lock. Not as punishment, but as alignment. You chose fear, so fear becomes your timeline. But if you step into the 5D, into the higher frequency of trust, sovereignty, and alignment, the experience transforms. Suddenly, the noise quiets, the illusions lose power. You begin to feel clarity, not because the world outside is calmer, but because the storm within has ended. Freedom no longer depends on circumstance, it is born from within. Sovereignty is no longer an idea, it becomes your way of being. The 5D is not a place you travel to. It is a frequency you embody. And when you choose it, the path before you begins to open. Doors align, synchronicities multiply, and your soul remembers what it came here for. This is the bifurcation, the splitting of paths. The moment when humanity divides into two realities that will no longer overlap. One rooted in fear, scarcity, illusion. The other rooted in freedom, abundance, truth. And here is the warning. One road closes forever. Once the portal seals, you cannot simply turn back and choose differently. This is why prophecy speaks with such urgency. This is why you have been called to listen now. The time of indecision is over. The shattering is already unfolding. The only question is, which reality will you step into? Perhaps you have already felt yourself standing at the edge of this choice. The tug of war within you, part of you clinging to the familiar, part of you aching for freedom. This inner conflict is not weakness. It is the friction of timelines pulling on your soul. You are being asked to release the old once and for all, to let go of fear, of control, of illusions that never served you, to stop replaying cycles that have already stolen too many years. The universe is saying, choose now, choose sovereignty, choose truth, choose alignment. And if you hesitate, remember this: no choice is still a choice. If you do not consciously choose 5D, the pull of 3D will claim you. That is why so many will fall back asleep, even as the signs blaze in the sky. They will dismiss the symptoms, ignore the dreams, cling to their routines. They will not realize that by ignoring the call, they have chosen the path of illusion. And when they look back, the road will already be closed. But you have been given awareness. And awareness is everything. The fact that you are hearing this, the fact that you feel it in your bones, means you are already standing in the doorway. Do not let fear trick you into thinking you are powerless. You are not. The shattering of timelines is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. Your choice is the key. Your vibration is the decision. Your alignment is the answer. This is the moment the mystics dreamed of, the moment your soul incarnated for. And though it feels like the end, it is truly the beginning. The portal of August is not here to destroy, it is here to divide, to separate the illusions from the truth, the fear from the freedom, the sleepers from the awakened. It is here to reveal who you really are. So take this warning to heart. One road closes forever. You cannot cling to both. You cannot serve fear and freedom at the same time. You cannot walk in illusion and in truth. You must choose. And the choice is now. If you are hearing these words, it is not by chance. You are guided here, because what I am about to share is the final key that will either break you free or bind you tighter than ever before. We are entering the stage of the journey known as the final test of attachment. And this is not just another lesson. This is the great severing, the point where your soul is asked one final time, are you ready to release the illusions of the old world, or will you remain entangled in what was never real? The truth is, attachments are not simply comforts. They are traps. They are golden chains that glimmer and sparkle, but chains nonetheless. The systems of this world were designed to feed on your attachment to money, to identity, to approval, to relationships that have already expired. And as long as those chains are wrapped around your soul, the higher timeline cannot carry you forward. The first illusion we must face is money. For centuries, money has been painted as security, as the proof of your worth, as the one thing that can save you. But you are about to witness what few are prepared to see: the collapse of false stability. Money is not security. It never was. It is paper and code tied to systems built on sand. And when the tide rises as it will, you will see how fragile it always was. This is why the chosen are being prepared to detach, to step into a place where wealth is no longer measured by digits in a bank, but by energy, creativity, alignment, and sovereignty. But it is not just money. Relationships, too, are tested. You may have already felt it. Sudden distance from those you once held close. Endings you did not see coming. Karmic ties snapping like brittle threads. This is not cruelty. This is release. The universe knows who cannot walk with you into the new timeline. Some are too heavy. Some are too bound by their own contracts. Some were only ever meant to walk with you for a chapter. And though your human heart may ache, your soul knows the truth. Letting go is the only way to rise. And then there's the death of identity, perhaps the hardest test of all. Because your name, your roles, your achievements, your history, they are masks. They were never who you truly are. And when the universe asks you to lay them down, It will feel like annihilation. Who am I without this job? Without this relationship? Without this role I've carried for decades? The ego trembles at the void because it believes it will die there. But the soul knows the void is the womb of rebirth. This is the part most fear, facing the void, walking into nothingness, allowing the old self to crumble before the new self emerges. And yet, this is the doorway. The great portal cannot carry baggage. It requires you to walk in empty-handed, empty of illusions, empty of identities, empty of false securities. This is why many turn back at the threshold. They cannot bear the emptiness. But those who continue, those who step forward even when everything inside them screams to turn back, these are the ones who will know liberation. Because on the other side of surrender is breakthrough. The moment you unclench your grip, when you stop trying to control, when you finally allow yourself to fall into the unknown, that is when the light floods in. That is when you remember, you are not the role, not the mask, not the bank account, not the approval of others. You are eternal, infinite, indestructible. And nothing in this shifting world can take that from you. But understand this, the test of attachment is not abstract. It will show up in your life in ways that feel raw and personal. You may lose what you thought you could not live without. You may watch as everything familiar unravels. And in those moments, you will be tempted to cling, to grab the pieces and tape them back together. But do not mistake collapse for punishment. It is initiation. You are being invited to shed what cannot survive the new light. The chosen ones will understand this. They will see endings as beginnings, loss as preparation, emptiness as sacred ground. The sleepers will fight, scream, and grasp for what is fading, and in that grasping, they will chain themselves to the old timeline. But not you. If you are hearing this, your soul is whispering, let go. Let the illusions die. Walk into the void. Trust that the universe does not take without giving. It clears so it can fill. It empties so it can overflow. This is the paradox of the final test. What looks like death is rebirth. What feels like loss is gain. What appears to be emptiness is fullness disguised. But you must endure the in-between. You must walk through the silence, the uncertainty, the nights of not knowing who you are anymore. Because beyond that lies the remembrance that you were never anything less than whole. And so the question remains, what are you still clinging to? Which chains are you afraid to cut? Is it money, thinking it will save you? Is it a relationship, fearing you cannot survive alone? Is it an identity, built so carefully yet now crumbling? Whatever it is, hear this truth. If it must be taken, it was never yours. Only what is eternal is truly yours, and nothing eternal can ever be lost. This is the breakthrough waiting for you. The moment of surrender. The instant when you release what weighs you down and rise into the freedom that was always waiting. Do not resist the final test of attachment. It is not here to break you. It is here to make you unbreakable. And when you pass it, when you finally unclench your grip and walk into the void, you will feel the chains dissolve. You will feel the light return. And you will know, this was never the end. This was always the beginning. The first step of liberation is a spoken declaration, because words shape worlds. If you are still holding cords to old timelines, the energy of those attachments keeps you bound in loops of repetition. The ritual of release is not complicated, but it is sacred. You begin by sitting quietly, placing your hand on your heart, and acknowledging the cords you feel but cannot see. These cords may connect you to people, to memories, to regrets, or even to identities you once wore proudly but that no longer fit your soul. With breath steady, speak these words aloud. I release all that is not mine. I cut the cords to illusions. I return to wholeness. Speak it 3 times with rising conviction each time. Imagine the cords dissolving like threads of smoke in the wind. Feel yourself lighter. This is not just imagination, it is initiation. Once the cords are cut, the body must be calmed. Breath is the bridge between the seen and unseen, between chaos and order. The practice of breathwork is simple but profound. Inhale slowly through the nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for a count of 4. Then exhale through the mouth for a count of 6. Continue this rhythm until the nervous system softens, until you feel the grip of fear loosening. As the breath steadies, enter silence. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. In silence, the soul whispers truths the mind has drowned out. At first, silence feels uncomfortable, even unbearable, because the ego fears what it cannot control. But if you remain, if you let the silence envelop you, you will notice the stillness is alive, filled with guidance, filled with the voice of the divine. This practice clears space for the new timeline. The energy of the old world clings like dust, and clearing it daily becomes essential. 3 tools have been used across ages: salt, sound, and smoke. Salt purifies, absorbing stagnant energy from the aura. A simple ritual is to bathe with salt and water, envisioning heaviness being pulled away. Sound breaks stagnant frequencies. A bell, a drumbeat, or even your own voice chanting can realign energy fields. Smoke has carried prayers and purification for centuries. Burn sage, Palo Santo, or even incense with reverence, not habit. As the smoke rises, imagine the heaviness of yesterday leaving with it, clearing your space and spirit. These practices are not superstition. They are technology of the soul, ways to maintain vibrational clarity in a world designed to muddy it. The clearer your energy, the easier it is to hold the frequency of liberation, even when surrounded by chaos. Each day is a blank page, yet most allow yesterday's ink to bleed into it. Intention setting reclaims authorship of your timeline. Begin each morning by scripting your reality, writing as if it has already unfolded. For example, I walk in clarity today. Opportunities flow with ease. I radiate peace. Write these declarations not as requests, but as statements of truth. Words written carry weight. They carve pathways through energy fields. Alongside words, visualize the day unfolding with grace. If challenges arise, visualize yourself navigating them with calm. This daily ritual is not about control. It is about alignment. The universe responds not to desperation, but to certainty. The more you repeat this practice, the stronger your field of attraction becomes. Over time, you will notice reality bending toward the script you set, because your vibration shapes the outcomes you experience. This is the true art of creation. Liberation is not only about what you release, but about what you embody. The path of the chosen is not solitary forever. It is designed to ripple outward. Service is the highest form of anchoring light. This does not mean grand gestures, but simple acts infused with presence. Speak words that uplift rather than wound. Offer kindness without expectation of return. Hold space for those unraveling. Not with preaching, but with compassion. Every action becomes a declaration of frequency. Embodiment is living the truth you claim, so others can feel it through you without you needing to convince them. This is how the network of awakened souls grows, quietly, steadily, through actions aligned with liberation. When you embody light, you become unshakable in a world of shifting sands. Service then is not duty, it is overflow. What fills you spills naturally into the world. And as you give, you receive tenfold, for the universe mirrors embodiment back to you. The great severing is not only a private passage, it is a collective rebirth. By serving, by embodying, you become a living prophecy of the new world that is already being born. Integration begins with restructuring life itself. You cannot carry the baggage of the old world into the frequency of 5D, for it was built on compromise, misalignment, and survival programming. Look at your current life with honesty, the spaces you dwell in, the work you do, the people you give energy to. Do they expand your light, or do they drain it? This is the question of restructuring. Sometimes it means leaving jobs that feel safe but suppress your soul. Sometimes it means stepping away from relationships that have become cages. Sometimes it means physically moving into environments where your energy can breathe freely. Restructuring is not punishment, it is alignment. When you step out of misaligned spaces, you make room for what was always meant to meet you. The universe cannot fill a cup already packed with debris. Release the false, clear the stagnant, and prepare to receive the flow of a new reality built on resonance rather than obligation. The 3D world was built on logic, control, and linear plans. But the 5D frequency is led by intuition, the heart's intelligence. Living from the heart does not mean abandoning reason. It means allowing intuition to lead and reason to serve. The heart sees beyond timelines, beyond appearances, beyond fear. When you live from this space, choices unfold with grace rather than force. You will feel the pull of what is right, even if it makes no sense to the mind. This is the art of surrender trusting, the magnetic pull of the soul over the rigid demands of logic. In 5D, what is aligned flows, and what is not aligned crumbles, no matter how tightly you try to hold it. To live from the heart is to walk with courage, because it will ask you to leap without guarantees. But the heart is never wrong, it carries the blueprint of your highest path. Each day, pause and ask not, what should I do? But what does my heart know? In the old paradigm, most relationships, careers, and exchanges were rooted in need. What can I get? What can you give? Me? How can I survive through this? That survival-based pattern fueled scarcity. In 5D, the frequency shifts from need-seeking to gift-giving. The question becomes, what do I have to offer? What light flows through me that wants to be shared? When you live in this orientation, everything you give is multiplied. The universe mirrors generosity with abundance. This is not about martyrdom or self-sacrifice. It is about living in overflow. When you recognize yourself as a sovereign creator, you realize you already carry the resources, talents, and frequency to uplift others. From this place, giving becomes joyful, not draining. Imagine a world where every exchange, whether in love, community, or even economy, was based on offering from fullness rather than demanding from emptiness. That is the template of 5D. Every gift opens a portal for more abundance to flow back to you. And paradoxically, when you give from overflow, your needs are naturally met. Scarcity collapses, and abundance becomes the default. The greatest challenge after release is not the letting go, it is the steadying of the new. The ego will try to pull you back into familiar roles, old definitions, and outdated stories. But integration requires the conscious embodiment of your new identity, the sovereign creator. This identity is not about arrogance or superiority. It is about sovereignty, knowing you are the architect of your timeline, not a victim of circumstance. Steadying means choosing again and again to stand in this truth, even when old patterns call you back. It means practicing your new vibration until it becomes natural. You no longer ask, who will save me? Instead, you declare, I create, I choose, I align. Each choice affirms your new identity. At first, it feels unstable, like walking on new legs. But with practice, you realize this identity is your original nature. You were always sovereign. The old world only trained you to forget. Embodying this truth is the final stage of anchoring into 5D. Once you stand firmly here, no storm of illusion can shake you. You become unmovable, not because you resist, but because you root into your eternal essence. This is your last cosmic warning. The August portal is not just another passing alignment, it is the great severing, the final test, the moment where timelines split and never return to one. You have heard the message. You know what must be done. The choice is not tomorrow. The choice is now, but hear this clearly. You are not a victim of destiny. You are not a prisoner of the stars. You are the alchemist. Every breath you take, every declaration you speak, every step you walk is shaping the reality you will inhabit. The portal is a mirror. It will not decide for you. It only reflects what you choose to embody that, so speak it now, aloud, in writing. Anchor it in the field. Comment the words, I release and I rise, or I am the alchemist. Let your declaration ripple across timelines. Let it be heard by those who are walking with you. You are not alone. Millions across the world are. Stepping into this same fire, cutting the same cords, claiming the same freedom. Together, we welcome the new reality. Together, we declare, welcome to freedom. Welcome to the great severing.